All right, just one more tutorial on articles, at least for now. We'll probably come back to it in the future and show you a few more things. But in this little mini series that we're doing, there's just one more thing that I'd like to point out when you create articles, how you can optimize your article so that it will be indexed and categorized by the search engines that are going to come to your website. Now, search engine optimization is really a science, and it's a living science. It changes from year to year as to what makes the search engines catalog your articles, your website in a way that will give you high rankings in the search engines. And some of it is quite secretive, and people try and develop what they think is causing the high rankings at search engines, but then Google and some of these others, Bing, will change the way that they do things, and then everything is up for grabs again. But there are a few things that you can do when you write your Joomla article that will give you a better chance that your article will appear with a high ranking in Google. And so that's what we want to talk about in this particular lesson. There may be other tutorials coming down the pike that will talk about different ways that you can optimize other things in Joomla so that your whole website will be get a high ranking. But we'll talk about that in another tutorial. In this lesson, we're going to just focus in on articles and what you can do in Joomla to give you a better chance at getting a good high rating. As an example, I'm going to use the article that we just created for our last tutorial at the Joomla Skills website. You may recognize this from the site. We're inside of our article utility using the JCE editor, and just want to point out a couple of principles that the gurus of search engine optimization tell us are important things for you to consider when you're preparing your article. The first thing that you want to do is create all of the items of your article with search engine optimization in mind. For example, what is the title of your article? What are the words that are used in the title of your article that will help the search engines catalog your article so that it'll show up in a search that is relevant to your article? So when you're coming up with a title, try and come up with a title that is not only a clever title in the way of describing your article, but also something that the search engines might recognize and put in the right place. Then also inside your article itself, you want to be sure and use some keywords that the search engine robots are going to pick up on, because the search engine robot is actually going to take a look at the article itself and determine, based on the words that appear in the article, where it should be listed in the search. So you'll notice that in my article that I created to describe our last tutorial, that we use some wording here inside the article itself that will help the search engines categorize this correctly. And so if you've been wondering why some of the wording that I have for my articles, descriptions, are a little bit odd and funny, well, I'm writing more for the search engines than I am for the viewer in some cases. So take a look at what we've written here. It says, once you've started creating articles in Joomla, well, in that we want the search engines to be cataloging this video tutorial all about articles, we wanted to mention that in the article. Notice that inside of our article, we mention things like learn about the control panel that sets global settings. Well, we know that people who are starting to use Joomla are going to be typing into their search engine, how do I control the settings of my article information? Well, there's a good chance that if someone asks that question in a Google search, that they might be presented with this video tutorial as an option to check out. Even the title of our article, How to Control the Display of Article Information in Joomla, is all about matching up with someone sitting down to a keyboard, going to the Google search engine and asking, how do I control the display of article information using Joomla? Well, there's a good chance that that question is going to match perfectly with our title. And there's a good chance that it will show. hopefully. Notice in the article that we talk about how settings can be overridden by the control panel options in the article and menu item. And those are Joomla terms that may be picked up as people are typing in their question. You may also, when you are writing in the alt information for your images, use wording inside the alternative text that may also relate to your article. And that way you have a coordination of 3 different items that the robots are looking for. We have the title asking that question. We have the alt information of the image asking that question. And we have information in our article talking about the same thing. And when those 3 work together in a certain synergy that we believe helps to improve the search engine ranking. Okay, but there is more that you can do than just working with the article itself. We can also go into the Publishing tab here. And you'll notice that over here, you are given the option of creating a short description of what is inside your article. You can also add keywords that people might be typing in when they're looking for information that matches the information that you're providing in your article. And it's these 2 items that the search engines will also be looking very specifically at. The information that you type in here is really primarily what the search robots are looking at. They might look here first and then see how your description matches your article. And if your description here is very close to the things that it finds in the article, it might give you a higher ranking. If the keywords that you type in here very closely match up with the words that are found within your article, then there's a good chance that you'll get a higher rating. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment and just add that information here. All right, so I've typed it in. You can scroll up and down if you like, if your description goes longer than the box, or you can open that up, just kind of drag this corner here open and you can see more. What you want to do here is keep this just to 1 sentence. You don't want to have this too descriptive. Some people just copy their article right into the description. Well, that's not going to help you. Robots might even penalize you for doing that. What they're looking for is just a 1 sentence description of your article. And try and word this again in the same way that it's going to match up with your article content. If you have wild claims here about your article that don't in any way match what's actually inside your article, you again will probably get a very poor ranking and may even get a bad reputation with the search engines for trying to promote your article in fraudulent ways. And so your website can actually be blacklisted if you're using the wrong techniques here. You have to be careful. For the keywords, just separate each keyword with a comma, and that will take care of that. Notice I've used keywords. We're talking about Joomla 3. We're talking about Joomla articles. We're talking about Joomla's global settings. We're talking about article options, menu item control items of Joomla 3, and how to, this is a long one. That's what's called kind of a long tail keyword. And the idea is you want to put one in there that will match up with what you think people are going to type into a search engine query when they're looking for what you have to say in your article. And so as I think about how people might be frustrated about this extra information that's showing up in their article, they might type in, how on earth do I get rid of this extra information in Joomla 3 articles? Well, if they type that in, there's a good chance that my article is going to, or my video is going to display prominently in the search engines because that is the long tail keyword that I've typed in here. All right, now if you want to, this is kind of optional, but if you like, you can also add information as to who wrote the article and if it's copyrighted. I just usually have this over in Notepad. I just do a copy paste so I don't have to type it in every time. And then just remember to go up and save and close that so it keeps that information, and you're done for helping the search engines find your article.